smoking hard rock right now, and it's past the 80s, past the 90s, you really have no excuse because you do know what it does to your body now. In the 80s when it hit, it's one thing. In the 90s, it was just people selling it left and right. But now in the 2000s, there's absolutely no reason for you to even be curious about trying it. Our women are stuck on doing these things. Our women are celebrating promiscuity and drug usage and hustling. This is pretty much, if you wrap it all up in a nutshell, this is what we are seeing. We're seeing women talk about getting a bag, F you. If it doesn't work out with you, I'll go sleep with your man. Promiscuity and greed. Doing pills. Cardi B says she drugged a very well-known, world-renowned rapper, Cardi B, had admitted that she used to drug people and rob them, incapacitate people and rob them. I don't know why I couldn't say it a while ago, but you know what I mean. You got all these situations right now, but let's keep going. I want to take away from the story.
Back to you, man. Where are my pills at, man? You the only one stealing from me, dog. That's why I don't like you coming over. Yo, but why always stealing? Why you stealing? Why you the only person going in my stash. Where my money and my pills, bro? First you doing crack, now you doing meth, now you doing pills. Where my f***ing shit at? Where's my shit at? And you gonna be just like the fucking crackhead. I'm not a crackhead. You is the crackhead. Where my shit at? Where my shit at? I don't give a f*** what you had. So you using pills for a headache? You know that shit ain't for no headache. Where my f***ing pills at?
Hey, bro.
You better have my shit.
Bro, chill out. Hey, bro. Hey, that's your mom, bro.
Shut up, man.
Don't tell him shit. Don't tell him because his fucking days are gonna be
Workers, what the fuck is you, boy?
Where my shit at,
Man, you tripping on a food? You tripping on pills, bro? Bro, you tripping on a few pills?
Irene, where's my...
Now, let me tell you something, man. The gentleman who tried to intervene, telling him to chill out and leave his mom alone, that's a great way to get shot. I'm going to tell you that right now. I understand the sentiment behind that when you're trying to stop this boy from going off on his mother, but you don't know how long they have had this type of relationship. There's no telling. He might put his hands on his mother, and apparently he sells drugs or whatnot, right? He's a drug dealer. What makes you think he was going to do something to you if you keep interfering with that stuff? Some of you got to use wisdom. I get where you're coming from, but if it get too bad, you call the police. Don't risk your life. When you talking about stop, and you want to become a super saber hole, whatever you want to call that, and then you have children at home, then you have a wife at home, you have family members who want to see you again, and you jump in somebody else's business, and they take your life. That's your fault. Everybody business. It's not your business. Sometimes you got to step back and say, okay, I ain't got nothing to do with that, homie. I ain't saying you can't try to affect it some other kind of way, like call police or whatever you think you may need to do. But at the same time, and it ain't about snitching. If you really think someone about to lose their life, do what you need to do. But don't just jump in people's business like that. That's a good way to get a black guy and to get shot to death. Thing up here. I'll just go ahead and play this one first.
They respect me a lot. My daughter with the 8 kids, she's there for me. I hang around my grandkids. They love me. But I just want to get rid of the crack. I can't take it. Years ago, I was on prostitution. I've done everything. I've been raped, and I've been almost, I've been beaten. All my relationships are violent. I get into. My teeth are going right now because of a boyfriend I had. He didn't want me to leave, and I wanted to leave, so he knocked all of my teeth out.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. I knew a girl that I was dating a while before I realized she was on pills. Because, you can smell everything else when it's burned. But pills, you got to watch for how people act when they're on pills. Some people act like they zombies and all spaced out. It depends on the person, of course. But with pills, you got to watch behavior. Everything else, you can kind of smell on them. Unless they go take 3 or 4 showers with it. But you can smell wet, which is PCP, Sherm. You can smell hard rock. You can smell a lot of stuff. Anything burns and you have to be burnt and you smell it. You can smell it, right? So she had a tooth knocked out too. Most of these women who are living this dangerous, who is walking this dangerous path of trying drugs, they do tend to get in relationships where men are slapping the hell out of them, beating up on them. Young girls who are not really strongly addicted to certain drugs, but they're on their way. They have a habit of popping pills. They have a habit of doing this. And even with weed, I don't care what nobody say. Now, I know weed has some good beneficial properties to it when it's used the correct way or whatnot. But if you have to wake up in the morning and you have to smoke as soon as you wake up, you have a habit. If you can't go throughout a month, if you can't smoke it today and be like, you know what, I'm not gonna smoke it for the next 3 months, man, I'll get back to it after 3 months. If you can't do that, you have a habit. You have a small, minor addiction to something. You do. It's like cigarettes, man. If you can't walk away from cigarettes for like 3 or 4 months, just like snap your fingers, it's cool, you have a cigarette addiction. You're addicted to that nicotine. You're addicted to how it makes you feel. So people don't want to say that, but anything that alters your state of mind can become addictive, man. Even sex addiction. It alters your state of mind because it releases chemicals in your brain like dopamine, which is like the equivalent of taking a shot of heroin. Anything that alters your mood. And unfortunately, this is what we see all the time in the community. See, these older women, now she might be younger than how she look, but when you're on drugs, it has the tendency of really aging your appearance. Now, let me tell you something. A lot of you young women who watch my show, this is your fate because you partying too damn much. You all that riotous living, all that damn lifestyle of rambunctious promiscuity, all the things that you're doing out there, just trying to have a good old time. And then you experiment with drugs. You experiment with this. You experiment with different sexual lifestyle. You don't know if you're straight. You don't know if you're gay. You don't know if you're bi. It depends on what day of the week it is. And some of you point of view, this is my humble opinion. Let's keep going.
I've been sodomized. I've been everything. I've just been through so much hell, and it's like I just won't stop smoking crack. It seems like the crack is my everything. It's my boyfriend. It's my husband. It's everything because I feel like it doesn't do me wrong. But then when I look in the mirror now, I see myself and I have no teeth. My skin is getting this and I'm getting older. And I see the crack doesn't like me. So lately I live in the wine garden now. I'm trying to get my life together, but it's not easy on Skid Row. It's like when you come out, all it is drugs, so you can't really get sober. But I'm trying my hardest, you know. I just miss my daughter. I just miss my family. I just miss a whole lot of things. I'm just tired of myself. I have 4-stage cancer in my uterus. I can't have sex. I can't keep a relationship because I can't have sex because it hurts. It's very painful.
Damn, her story gets worse and worse and worse the longer you listen to it. I'm glad to cut off then. I mean, I feel sorry for her being in that situation, but I don't feel sorry for her making the choices that led her to those situations. You get what I'm saying? But when you're in it, sometimes you need help. When you are deep in a ditch, in a big pit, sometimes you need someone to throw a line down there to pull you up. But the thing is with addicts is they relapse a whole lot. I know. I got them in my family, man. You know, I know I have one right now who will forever be a crackhead. Never gonna change. Older than dirt. Never gonna change. Good person, but on and off it all the time. That's just who they are. Never gonna change. I'm put them in rehab, everything for years since I was a child. Never gonna change. Always gonna stay on that stuff. But you know, you love them. You gotta accept them for who they are. And they still. But you gotta know when they're around your house to hide certain shit. Don't let them come to your house. When you love somebody, you got to make some kind of accommodation for them. Either you're going to be like, okay, you can't come here, but if you love them, you know what I mean, and they got that habit, then you got to try to find a way to work with it. Because at the end of the day, unless they get a relationship with God and he cleans them up, it still comes down to them to really wanting to change on their own. Now, let me show you what happened, ladies, to what's going to happen to your children. If you continue to live a lifestyle of running these streets, getting hooked on drugs, thinking it's a great old party out there. I'm going to let you listen to a lady who went through that when her mama was a crackhead. Let's go ahead and get to it. Now, 1 second.
I know this all too well about having a mother that's on crack. Like, that's all I ever known my mama for, and it's hard that she have to be incarcerated now because she murdered someone and she's had like a 30-year bid she had to do. But just growing up, like, just it was embarrassing. It was hard. I miss her. I was her only daughter, and just being out of all her kids, I was like the closest to her, but I was the one she hurted the most. And just longing for her, you know, raising my kids and not being able to have my mom by my side just to help me raise my kids. And they basically got to see their grandma from behind the prison. it's hard. And even now, just being supportive towards her, trying to take care of her since my grandma passed away, since my great grandma passed away. Everybody that she had that was there for her have passed on. So it leaves a lot of stress on me to make sure that she's okay on the inside. And be supportive, because my brothers and McCoys, they hold grudges towards her, so they don't do nothing. They don't visit her. They don't write her. Nothing. So me being her only daughter, I try to be there and do the best that I can. And it's very depressing. I had a lot of depressed days dealing with this, and not knowing who my dad is, because she lived a life. She lived the street life. So
Exactly, like I was saying before, living a lifestyle of righteous, living in promiscuity, going out there and saying A and demon time and we slay and stuff. See, here's the thing with a lot of you women, what you don't understand. You can go out in them streets and don't intend to be hooked on anything. Just because your intentions are good does not mean it won't happen. Because you can go out there and intend that and intend not to get hooked on anything, but then you can have so-called friends who are really your enemies in a sheep and wolf's clothing, lace stuff for you. Lace stuff, put stuff in your cigarette, put stuff in your little blunt, put stuff in your little J. Drop pills in your drink.
it was hard, loving her and being there for her, despise her addiction and things like that, which I always knew since I was little that either she was going to be in jail, or somebody was going to end up killing her, or she was going to OD the way she lived her life, and whatever the case is. But it made it traumatic for me. It made it very, very traumatic for me and my upbringing, being a girl, having a mother that's out there living that type of lifestyle. And even situations where I was in, where she basically tried to use me for my shape, just to see if one of her biters, somebody that gave to her, would be intrigued by me. Well, not necessarily like I would have to be with them or anything like that, but she would always like, oh, look at my daughter. My daughter got a pretty shape. Oh, my daughter's so pretty, and whatever. Like,
Okay, this woman is living in delusion now. Because you and I, if you from the streets and been out there, we both know what this is. If her mother was showing her off as a young girl, like a child or minor, to other dudes who were buying stuff for her, the pot or whatever it may be, she was willing and most likely would have pimped her daughter out to get what it is that she wanted. She would have pimped her out, would have made her daughter a prostitute just so that she can sustain her dirty, filthy habit. Okay? It happens all the time. She was just blessed to not have to go through that. But I guarantee you, if the circumstances was dire enough at that time, or however the situation would have been, she might be saying a different story today about her being prostituted by her mother just so her mother could get them drugs.
put me on the pedestal. Now, she would always put me on the pedestal, but I knew what it was for and things like that, so I would never want to go nowhere with her. I was so ashamed and so embarrassed for her to even be my mom, but I loved it, my mom. Like, I would really fight for my mom. You couldn't talk about my mom, but I talk about them and things like that. But she my heart though. That's my heart. Like, she don't even know how bad, being a little girl, just praying to God, crying, save my mama. I want my mama to be around, why she can't get her life together so she could raise her own children. Just dealing with that, it was very, very, very depressing. And I still deal with the aftermath of that to this day, even though I'm married and got a family of my own. But
that means she's traumatized from the horrible experiences. That's what I'm trying to tell you. A lot of you women are not considering how you are affecting your children. Every time you get pregnant with a man and don't require marriage, and then your child sees you get pregnant by another man, now you got a stepbrother, then got a stepsister and stuff like that. You don't think that affects the child? That child has to grow up. That stuff is ingrained in that child. And then if you're on drugs, like the stuff that you're doing when you abandon your children to the streets, them children understand what you're doing, man. And when you do those type of things like that, you traumatize them. This lady right here, this big woman here, needs to get therapy. Seriously.
And you're going to do whatever it takes to get more?
I've died off of fentanyl.
Now, this woman has died a couple times, OD'd on a couple things. See, ladies, when you start to get in these streets, some of these women look horrible now, but they probably would look beautiful if they were never known thing. When you are in these streets, ladies, like you like to be, and hang around the wrong people like you like to do, there's a very strong chance that this could be you. A lot of women have had dreams of going to college, collegiate careers, and wanted to get doctorates and live a wonderful life, be married, but get caught up in them streets, get chewed up and spit out. And these are the results of it.
And you're going to do whatever it takes to get more?
I've died off of fentanyl. I wanted some crack that day so bad. I begged this boy for some crack. And for some reason, I never pray over my drugs, but I prayed over that crack rock. I said, Lord, please, make sure there's no fentanyl. And as soon as I hit it, I told him call 911.
How many times have you OD'd like that?
At the police station with a handful of crack rocks, and they even packed my bong in my bra when I got to the hospital. I left the hospital and I didn't even go home. I came right back downtown looking for some more crack. And I was out here bent over. I couldn't even walk. Still hustling to get crack. I'd be crying for crack. It's sad. But listen, I haven't talked to my daughter in years. My son, none of my kids do drugs. And they know about my addiction. My son tries to talk to me, tell me, Mom, if you die out here, nobody cares but me. You gotta get clean if you wanna be around your grandkids. You think I went to a program or I stopped? Still pulling like a locomotive.
Sad story, y'all. My allergies keep me. I know y'all might think it's a cigar, but no, I have bad allergies. In Houston over here, in this area I'm at over here, our weather go up and down. There's still, the leaves on our trees are still